Hey, beautiful. Welcome to Dr. Sarah's Cafe. This is your weekly tarot reading. It is timeless and collective. So if you feel drawn to watch, my intention is that there's a message here for you that is valuable or inspirational or just helpful in some way now or in the near future. So I'm going to pull some cards and see what the message is for you. And last week I did a music oracle message. Let me know if you like that because I can see myself doing that a lot more often. But for today, we're just strictly tarot. All right, let's get right into it. See how we're starting off this message. What message do you have for the lovely souls who are watching with us today? Bottom of the deck, we have the Hanged Man, and the card that came out is the Four of Wands. Really nice. We love us a Four of Wands over here at the cafe, okay? You can tell by the colors, if you are familiar with color theory, that this is a very fiery sign. The wands are fire, and the four is about stability. It is about foundations, but they're happy foundations, right? It's not like the Four of Pentacles where it's like kind of concrete. This is more like standing on your front porch and looking out at a sea of wildflowers kind of foundation. And it could also be the foundations in terms of your family, the habits and practices of your day and your life. For some people, it could be actual real estate, actual home, property, but it also just feeling at home, feeling that sense of home. And I love the Four of Wands too because it is joyous and celebratory. And I feel like this curtain is going to fall down. So I'm going to pause this and be right back. Okay, we're back. So the Four of Wands is often a milestone card, a milestone that's worth celebrating. And so I think a very practical example could be moving into a new home, right? Because that covers both the home property foundation aspects of things as well as the celebratory aspect of things where you're having a housewarming party, right? And so it's both a new foundation for your life and a milestone that's worth celebrating. So happy for that. Hangman at the bottom of the deck could suggest that it's been a long time coming or that you've been in a waiting period or in a holding pattern, kind of like a pause. Maybe you were trying to move into a new home and things were getting delayed. And the Hanged Man could also speak to some sacrifices that have to be made in order to celebrate this thing, right? And so maybe you had to, really sell a lot of furniture to, save up the down payment on something. Or if it's another, so getting away from the house and home and new apartment, new house situation, it could be a new job, for example. And so maybe you have to move to a new city to get this new job. And it's kind of a sacrifice to have to pick up your life and go and start over in a whole new place. But it's also a happy thing. It's also a happy occasion. If you were training for something and, I think about the Olympics a lot in this situation, like you made it to the Olympics and it's a cause for celebration, but you look back at the sacrifice that you made and training for years and sometimes your whole life for this very special moment. So just a few analogies and examples. You'll know how it resonates for you. Let's keep going, see what else we get. The Devil with the Two of Cups. So this could be marriage. With the Two of Cups at the bottom and the Four of Wands as the lead card, because the lead card is often like the crux of the situation, or like the cornerstone of the overall reading, right? It's like the glue that ties the whole reading together to me, the first card, and oftentimes the bottom of the deck. So I'll get to the Devil in a second, but the Two of Cups and the Four of Wands is like a happy companionship, happy friendship, happy marriage, happy sibling relationship, happy roommate situation. Again, if we're using the house and home situation. The Devil, though, so I'll read both the challenging aspects as well as the more optimistic aspect. The challenging aspect could be that there's something in the situation, something in this scenario that is rooted in obligation, that is rooted in control, or that's rooted in trying to control a situation, feeling like you have to go along to get along, or feeling like your hands are tied. Even if they aren't, even if you do actually have agency and choice in the situation, the devil is when something is being manipulated. And so you might not be aware that you can make a different choice. You might not be aware that you can make a different option. Now, the more optimistic side could just be really like gung-ho about something. The devil is sort of like when you obsess over things, and that obviously could skew very unhealthy, but it could also be like being locked in, putting your head down and saying, I'm going to put my blinders on and I see nothing but you. So in a positive sense, in a relationship, this could be where you're so committed that you don't even feel at the moment like, you're like, how have I ever loved before? You know, like I can't feel attracted to anyone else but you, right? And like this person can become your whole world. And like you feel so dedicated, like you would do anything for them, which again could be unhealthy. And so be self-aware, know within yourself. But I say that the devil card represents Capricorn, okay? The sign of Capricorn as an archetype. And so because of that, the devil has good qualities, even though the connotations and the associations socially that we have with the devil are all negative. Because it's the card that represents the energy of Capricorn, it is that energy of the provider, of the person who's going to climb that mountain, even if it's super steep, even if the rocks look dangerous and you don't really know what's up there. They're like, I don't care, you can't tell me nothing, I'm getting to the top of this summit. Okay. So I'll just leave it with you to practice your own discernment and self-awareness in this situation. We'll see what else comes out, and maybe that'll give us more insight, right? Also, I was just shown the Hanged Man again. It was on the table when I picked up the deck. So the Hanged Man revealing itself again in this reading after discussing this devil as Capricorn energy. Remember, the Hanged Man could speak to sacrifice. It could speak to that martyr energy where you sacrifice time, you sacrifice energy, you sacrifice patience, and whatever is necessary to have this victory, to have this important milestone, this important win. And so I think this emphasizes like how much of a sacrifice it has been. You've had to dig, you've had to reach so far down into the depths of your strength and perseverance that you reached so far down that you came back up with devil energy. It's not going to make sense for everyone, I know. But it's like, that's the level of intensity, of focus you've had to have, of dedication and sacrifice. Someone in this situation, you or someone doing this on your behalf, they achieved, they got it. And it's by way of really being all in. Okay, what else do you want to share with this message? Okay. We have two cards. Interesting. We have the Six of Wands and the Five of Elixirs. Page of Wands at the bottom of the deck. I almost want to clarify this because now an energy is coming through that does feel a little ick. Okay. So the first impression that hit me was guilt about success, guilt about a win. So we have two cards that both represent happy, success, win, victory, celebrate. You did a good job, pat yourself on the back. This is positive, right? In most senses of the word. Four of Wands, Six of Wands. Four of Wands is like birthday party, housewarming party, homecoming party. Six of Wands is like promotion at work. being featured in the New York Times, being on Forbes 40 under 40 list. So any kind of public success, going viral on the internet. But then we have the devil and the Five of Cups. So there, for some of you that are for someone in the situation, whether it's you or someone you're involved with, there are questions about whether or not it was worth it. There are questions about whether or not the sacrifices were worth it. Was this success that I achieved worth what I sacrificed? And with this, for this Five of Cups energy, there could be some regret. Someone could be struggling with regretting what it took to have this victory. The other energy that presented itself in my awareness was jealousy, an energy of jealousy. And maybe it's this Page of Wands. Oh, we have the Three of Swords. Okay. So the other impression I get from this combination is someone else being disappointed by your success. Okay. I want to start clarifying. I'm going to use, actually, let's get an oracle card. How about that? Yeah, maybe an oracle card will give us a little more specificity or tell us what area of life maybe. I have the African Goddess Rising deck here. What more can you add to this message? Okay, we have two that fell. We have radical rebirth and resistance with masks at the bottom of the deck. Radical rebirth, resistance, and masks at the bottom of the deck. So I like this. There was absolutely sacrifice that had to be made. However, part of the sacrifice, part of what had to be let go was the false self or false people. It could be other people, but it could also have been you with this devil energy, this Five of Cups with the Six of Wands. Like you could have sacrificed your authenticity to reach the success. You could have sacrificed your integrity to reach the success. And not you per se, but, speaking in general terms, that could speak to the disappointment around the success. There could also be a sense that the public image or the public success is based on a part of you that doesn't feel honest or too authentic. It's like when people go viral for something that they don't actually want to be known for, but then they become attached to that thing, that one video. Let's say they've been making sewing videos their entire life, and then they post a cat video and that goes viral and everybody wants more cat videos. And they're like, no, I just want to sew. So that could be like winning in a game that you didn't actually want to play, right? Like achieving success in an area that you would have rather, have success elsewhere. Resistance and radical rebirth. The birthing process is a process of resistance. I have not given birth before, okay, transparency. But everything I know about giving birth, mammals in particular giving birth, humans giving birth, is that there's some resistance in that process. The baby doesn't necessarily want to come out. They're like, I'm so comfortable. Life is good in here. Usually, right? Not taking into account potential complications and that sort of thing. And they're like, you want me to come out into that cold, harsh world and that harsh fluorescent light of the hospital, and strangers I've never met putting their hands all over me and putting ink on my feet, and just the trauma of birth, right? Even thinking about plants, as plants are born and they are planted and they push up through the earth, they push up through the soil, and they break through the seed and they spread their leaves. It's rebirth. It's radical birth. Brand new you, right? Brand new me, brand new life. And all of that is preceded by resistance, the shedding of the skin. If you've ever watched a snake shed its skin, it has to create friction. It has to create resistance in order to shed that skin. And a lot of times resistance gets a bad rep because we're like, oh, don't resist. And if you feel resistance, it's not good. I don't think that's the whole truth, right? I think it's contextual. I think it depends. Because again, I love the snake shedding its skin analogy. Like that skin would not come off if the snake didn't purposely and intentionally seek to create resistance, friction with the ground, with whatever else they can rub against to get that old skin off of them, right? That's what this reading feels like. And I know I've said a lot with very few cards, but it's like that devil is the resistance. That hanged man is the resistance. That's why the devil is showing up here, is because this was a hard fought victory. Sacrifices were made and resistance was felt. Okay. And it was a path that also benefited you. Something about the sacrifice, something about the resistance that this birthing process entailed is somehow part of what makes this experience feel so celebratory. It's part of what makes this experience feel like a victory, right? If it had felt easy and effortless and smooth sailing, you might just kind of shrug it off and be like, we're here now. But you take the time to celebrate. You take the time to mourn and grieve what might have been lost in the birthing process. You take the time to mourn and grieve the old skin because maybe you liked the old skin. Maybe it was cool for what it was, for when it was. And even though you acknowledge and you happily and gladly step into the new skin, into the new era, into the new chapter, you have a moment. You have a moment where you kind of look back and you say like, ugh. All right, let's keep it moving, right? I want to clarify the Five of Cups. And then I think we'll be done. Why is the Five of Cups here, please? You can't make it up. The card that fell out. It's the Ten of Cups. The Ten of Cups. So this is, in my humble opinion, confirming everything I just said. It's like, yeah, there were sacrifices. Yeah, there was resistance in this process. Yeah, I had to push through some things. I had to shed some skin. I had to build some muscle. I had to build some stamina, some endurance, whatever your process has been. The Five of Cups and the Ten of Cups are the exact opposite energies. They're the opposite. The Five of Cups is sadness and loss and grief and regret and guilt and depression. And the Ten of Cups is joy, it's happiness, it's contentment, it's fulfillment. And with the Four of Wands could absolutely be marriage. But the Six of Wands says that, yes, it's a win. It is a victory. And it's one that you can absolutely be happy about. Both and. You can both be in a phase or in a state of mourning what you had to do to get through this process while also being flipping, happy, and joyful that you made it. Okay, my love, I hope that this has in some way helped you to refill your spiritual cup. I hope to see you in another video. Be sure to like and subscribe. Take care and much love.